fake stuff and said a lot of stuff that, a person that you claim that you're cool with, you would never say. So that was my big issue with him. I just know, character take you a long way, and I just don't agree with the character, actions that he took.
The problem is Terence Crawford now is really only going to want to fight for big money, and there's only certain fights that can generate that kind of money.
Terence Crawford erupted at Floyd Mayweather after leaked sparring footage surfaced, voicing strong disapproval of Floyd's actions. Crawford said he expected greater respect from someone who claims to be on good terms with him. He expressed deep disappointment and frustration that private training moments were exposed. According to Crawford, such behavior is unacceptable and should never come from a fellow champion who understands the value of respect in boxing.
I had disliked a lot of things that he was saying, and how he was acting, being that, I'm a real individual. I just felt like, we was all cool at one point in time. And, when the Errol Spence fight was getting mentioned and talked about and, signed, I just felt like he just did a lot of fake stuff and said a lot of stuff that, a person that you claim that you're cool with, you would never say. So that was my big issue with him. I just know, character take you a long way, and I just don't agree with the character, actions that he took.
Eddie Hearn's remark that Terence Crawford should consider retirement highlights the divide within boxing over his next move. Hearn notes that Crawford's legacy is already secure. He has conquered multiple divisions, dismantled elite opponents, and cemented his place among the all-time greats. Walking away now would preserve that image, just as other legends chose to retire at their peak. However, Hearn also acknowledges the powerful lure of money in today's boxing landscape, where Saudi investment and crossover spectacles dominate. Crawford could still earn record-breaking purses, even in fights less tied to legacy. The financial temptation of such multi-million-dollar events is undeniable, and as one of boxing's most seasoned promoters, Hearn understands this delicate balance better than most.
Sorry? Crawford retire? Do you know what? Someone said the other day, and it's very true, because I actually said it about Usyk, we've got a real tendency, haven't we, to kind of try and retire people off? Do you know what I mean? Like I said with Usyk, I think now he should retire. And everyone's like, why do you want him to retire? It's like, I just think it's a great way to go out. I actually also think that Crawford could move down and win a world title at 160. And that would make him, what, 6 division champ? 5, 35, 40, 47, 54, 6 division champion. But the problem is Terence Crawford now is really only going to want to fight for big money. And there's only certain fights that can generate that kind of money. So Shakur, he was obviously very close to him, seemed to say, so maybe that's it.
Floyd Schofield believes Terence Crawford should step away while still at the top. In his view, Crawford has already achieved everything that defines boxing greatness, rising to pound-for-pound king, winning titles across multiple divisions, and defeating the best of his era. Schofield stresses that he is not questioning Crawford's skill or legacy, but continuing further could bring unnecessary risk. If Crawford does return, Schofield argues it should only be against dangerous young contenders like Virgil Ortiz or Frank Martin, fighters who represent a new generation eager to test the legend. This perspective reflects a shift in boxing, where rising stars want to measure themselves against established champions. Still, Schofield's tone is respectful, acknowledging that Crawford has nothing left to prove. For him, retiring now would protect Crawford's flawless record and preserve his legacy at its absolute peak.
I feel like Crawford, he can retire if he wants. I feel like if he does get another fight, I would love to see him in there with Virgil. Virgil or Duran, I feel like those are both great fights, but those are fights we just gotta see. We just gotta see those fights before. I feel like those are the only 2 fights I would entertain.
Not a rematch? They get a rematch with Crawford and Canelo?
I feel like it wasn't close enough. If it was close, maybe, but it just was like, it wasn't close.
The debate over a fantasy clash between prime Floyd Mayweather and prime Terence Crawford continues to ignite boxing fans. Online discussions are fueled by the idea that both mastered the sport in their respective eras. Mayweather's defensive genius and unmatched ring IQ made him nearly untouchable, while Crawford's adaptability and killer instinct have allowed him to dominate every opponent. Yet reality paints a different picture. Mayweather is well past his prime, lacking the reflexes and stamina that once defined him. Any modern-day showdown would be more spectacle than true contest. That's why many argue it's a different era entirely. The dream of their primes colliding will remain just that, a dream.
So yeah, everybody, so this is a good question that the ring put out. So Terence Crawford versus Floyd Mayweather, a fantasy fight that will never happen. Now, this is a really good question. Who will win between these two? Me personally, if this was old Floyd Mayweather, well, I'm going to say Pretty Boy Floyd, I'm talking about like the younger version of Floyd Mayweather wins. You're talking probably prime Floyd Mayweather versus prime Terence Crawford. You could see Floyd Mayweather beating Terence Crawford, but you're talking about money Floyd versus Terence Crawford. I see Terence Crawford stopping him in the later rounds due to Floyd Mayweather's passive style and Philly shell. I believe he'll melt. Terence Crawford would just break him, I think. People forget what Manny Pacquiao was able to do on Floyd Mayweather, have success with him certain parts of the fight, and people just need to see, Floyd Mayweather's, I would say, fights, later down in the years. I think Crawford would just be able to break that defense. I don't know. The thing is about Terence Crawford, he has a very, very awkward style, very awkward foot movement, footwork. This is the thing. A lot of people were thinking, oh, nobody beats Floyd. Or if you try to compare somebody else, no, this man will beat Floyd. Floyd would beat everybody. I don't think it's a case of Terence Crawford, everybody. I think Terence Crawford would have been the man to actually beat Floyd. Honestly, for what he did to Canelo Alvarez, he beat a 168 Canelo Alvarez. 168 Canelo Alvarez.
Analysts emphasize that while statistics and accolades matter, they don't always determine true greatness in a head-to-head sense. Floyd Mayweather's 50-0 record and his ability to remain undefeated across generations is an achievement few can match. Terence Crawford, however, has become undisputed in multiple divisions, a milestone Floyd never reached. The comparison grows complicated because success in different eras cannot be measured on identical terms. Mayweather's resume is stacked with global stars and blockbuster pay-per-view events, while Crawford's legacy rests on dominant, decisive victories. Analysts argue that being more decorated on paper doesn't automatically mean being the superior fighter in the ring. It ultimately comes down to contexts, styles, and timing.
Mayweather versus Terence Crawford is the topic of this video, and someone posted this: number of world champion fighters beaten, Floyd with 23, Terence with only 11. But my response to this is, being more accomplished does not mean you're better than someone. By example, Canelo has 18 former world champions beaten, Terence has 11. So you could argue that Canelo's more accomplished. Meanwhile, Terence just whooped him over the course of 12 rounds over the weekend. We all saw it. Plus, more accomplished fighters lose to lesser accomplished fighters all the time, so that's a bad argument. Let's talk skill for skill. Terence Crawford has knockout power in both hands. He can switch stances. He's not a stationary target. He has good footwork. He knows how to counterpunch. He knows how to fight on the outside and on the inside. He can make it dirty. He knows how to box and he knows how to fight. There's a difference. Guys like Shakur Stevenson, for example, they know how to box. When it comes to actually getting down and dirty, the jury is still out on one Shakur Stevenson, just by example. Terence Crawford, I think, if you look at the names on Floyd's list here, Manny Pacquiao, Canelo, Marcos Maidana, Cotto, and the list goes on and on, I think Terence Crawford has a shot at beating all those guys. I don't think anybody on that list jumps off the page and goes, oh my god, I think he smokes Terence Crawford. You can't say that about anybody on any of these guys' lists and names here. So yeah, that's my take on this, man. Maybe the only guy is Gennady Golovkin. I could see Gennady Golovkin giving Terence a really hard fight, especially at that weight. But remember, Canelo lost to Gennady. Gennady shouldn't even be on this list. He's only on the list because the judges are in Canelo's back pocket. So, you know, that's a whole nother argument. But yeah, that's my take on this, guys. Skill for skill, Terence Crawford might be one of the best of all time, and that's okay. Like, it's okay to accept that, guys. It's fine. Let me know what you think in the comments below, whether you agree or disagree. It doesn't matter. Just join the discussion, subscribe for more, and leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent. Thank you. You are all appreciated.
Zab Judah's perspective carries weight because he experienced Mayweather's brilliance firsthand and knows what it takes to compete at the elite level. His acknowledgement of Terence Crawford as the king of this era highlights how each generation produces its defining figure. Judah even reminded fans that Canelo Alvarez once hinted Crawford might surpass Floyd, sparking endless debate. To Judah, Crawford's dominance across multiple divisions proves his completeness. He has carried power, timing, and composure seamlessly while moving up in weight. Unlike many who falter, Crawford has excelled at every level. Judah's endorsement feels like a symbolic passing of the torch. Floyd ruled his era, but today, Crawford wears the crown.
How did you score it? Huh? How did you score the fight? I think I gave you about 3 rounds. Really? Yeah. How did you score? Sounds about right? I had it closer, but there's loads of different scores. Yeah, 2 rounds. I did a possible 3 rounds. So is that very space? You have 2 impossible. Well, you put him in the all-time list. Lightweight world champion, 3-weight undisputed, Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford. Number one, this is his generation, his timeline. He is the king right now. Just seen in the press conference, Canelo said that Crawford's better than Mayweather. What do you think? What do you think's next for both? You like to see the rematch? But the rematch is yeah. Cool. Matter of fact, the rematch, I'm going to stop it early. Yeah. Thank you. So, my boys are dope.
Terence Crawford stressed that Canelo Alvarez's perspective holds more weight than most fans or analysts since he has personally faced both fighters. Still, Crawford noted the circumstances were very different. Mayweather fought Canelo when he was young, raw, and still developing, while Crawford faced him as a seasoned, fully established champion at super middleweight. That timing, Crawford argued, makes all the difference in boxing outcomes. For him, defeating an experienced Canelo carries a different significance than Floyd's schooling of a youthful version. In highlighting this, Crawford subtly defended his own victory while still respecting the historical context of Mayweather's.
In the ring with both of us, so a lot of people, you know, they can say what they want, but he's actually been in the ring with both of us. You know, one where he felt like he was at the best, you know, and another where he felt like he was at a disadvantage when he had a rehydration clause and he was younger. So, you know, I don't know, you know, I don't go off of that. You know, Floyd is the best fighter, you know, in his era, and I feel like I'm the best fighter in my era.
One thing that I thought was really interesting about the fight, I always love watching you switch stances as effortlessly as you do. You didn't do that a lot in this fight. You didn't have to. Were you expecting not to have to?
No, I felt like I could have, but you know, why do something when something else is working?
Easy answer.
Jeff Mayweather's defense of Floyd centers on the importance of context, which he feels many ignore. When Floyd faced Canelo, he was already past his physical peak, relying more on experience, reflexes, and timing than raw speed or explosiveness. Yet even in decline, Floyd completely neutralized a young and dangerous opponent, something Jeff insists should never be overlooked. He argues it's unfair to compare Floyd's version of Canelo with Crawford's, as they came at entirely different points in both fighters' careers. Jeff's remarks underline how boxing history is often reshaped without properly weighing the circumstances.
Also, if we remember, Canelo did, this time was a razor-thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. C.J. Ross had it with what a lot of people had as a draw. And then the other two judges scored it for Floyd, of course. And that was a Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience. He still took him, into deep waters. So.
What was Canelo? 21, 25?
Yeah, very, very young in the game, obviously.
Very young. He had more fights than Floyd, and he lost.
Yeah, but
man, that was 37 years old, 36.
Well, Floyd was clearly at the top of his career, and Canelo had fought a lot of people, but
you at the top of your career, you're in your prime when you're 36. It's not your prime.
Did he lose? I mean,
prime is in your 20s.
It's different for different people.
Okay. Yeah. So, and that's why Canelo is saying what he's saying.
Buddy McGirt's analysis highlighted the essence of Crawford's brilliance. He noted how Crawford dictated every aspect of the fight, controlling pace, distance, and exchanges from beginning to end. Unlike many of Canelo's past opponents who fell into traps, Crawford never let him establish rhythm. McGirt compared this mastery to the way Floyd Mayweather once outthought rivals, but emphasized that Crawford added his own twist with aggression and finishing instincts. To McGirt, the performance was more than just a victory. It was a statement that Crawford deserves recognition among the greatest technicians the sport has ever produced.
Like, what fight were they watching?
Right.
I mean, it's. I don't know, man. I don't know what some of these guys be doing in this game, man. Some people, in situations like that, they should ask them, listen, just turn in your license, bro. Because there's no way in hell the fight was that close.
Right.
I mean, come on, man. It's just, it's not fair. It's not fair. You get a guy like Terence got here and dominate from beginning to end, and then you find out he needed the last 2 rounds to win. That's scary, man.
It is, and you see how you just mentioned scary. Now, a lot of people are saying, buddy, that type of beating, he's not going to want a rematch. But looking at those gold cards and knowing that, hey, you wasn't too far behind, even though, he did mention that, he's better than Mayweather. But, I mean, what's your thoughts? Do you feel like that was such a beating that Canelo wouldn't want a rematch?
No, I think that, in all honesty, personally, I think that Canelo's at that stage in his career right now, that it's a rematch he don't need. He don't need it. You know what I mean? What we saw that night, that's the stage Canelo's at right now. He's fought everybody, he's did everything. But, he passed the torch to the right guy. You know what I mean? He passed the torch to the right guy. He lost it to Terence fair and square, and he passed the torch. So we're gonna have another fight, cool, but you don't need to. He has nothing to prove. He fought Terence and nobody else would.
The analyst noted that Floyd Mayweather's charisma and ability to market himself as both hero and villain made him a global icon. His undefeated record carried enormous weight, as fans either tuned in to admire his brilliance or to root for his downfall. Terence Crawford, by contrast, has never been a huge pay-per-view draw, but analysts argue this should not overshadow his fighting skill. Some even suggest Crawford's natural ability surpasses Floyd's. His seamless stance switching, mastery of range, and decisive finishing power set him apart. While Mayweather was defensive and cautious, Crawford is calculated yet ruthless, making him equally difficult to beat but far more exciting to watch.
Versus Floyd Mayweather Jr., who wins this fight? I'm going with Terence Crawford, and I don't think that's unpopular or crazy to say. I think most people will agree with me. I understand Floyd Mayweather has a lot of fans out there, but the truth is, as great as Floyd Mayweather is, Terence Crawford is one of one. And I say that because who else has knockout power in both hands, is able to switch stances between orthodox and southpaw so seamlessly while having great footwork? It's not like Terence Crawford is some stationary target or a flat-footed fighter that's going to be chasing Floyd around. Terence Crawford knows how to cut the ring off. He has tremendous ring IQ. And not only is he a great boxer, but he's a great fighter. He'll be able to make it dirty. If he is on the inside with Floyd, that power will carry him far. And I just don't see how Floyd will be able to beat a Terence Crawford. I really don't see it. I understand Floyd's defense is incredible, but he is smaller than Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford would have a significant reach advantage on Floyd Mayweather. I believe Terence Crawford would also be taller than Floyd Mayweather, as well as all the skillful and technical aspects of what I just laid out prior. So I don't understand how anybody could pick Floyd Mayweather to beat Terence Crawford. Styles make fights, and I believe Terence has the style to beat one Floyd Mayweather. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Whether you agree or disagree, it doesn't matter. Join the discussion, subscribe for more, and leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent. Thank you, you are all appreciated.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next one.